Good morning, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to be here, and I really mean it, because I'm thrilled with this topic, designing enterprises for better futures. And why is that? Because it challenges us to question what is the ultimate goal of everything that we do as designers. So before I introduce you to the topic that brings me here today, let's explore together what this means, how important it is, why, and how can we do something about it. So 2 weeks ago, I was in Helsinki. I joined Futures. And there, Mike Monteiro said that many of the society's problems, if not all of them, are a design decision. And as bold that claim may be, I tend to agree. Why is that? Because every screen, every drop-down menu, every interaction with systems, face-to-face or digitally, all of those are design decisions. Someone decided they work that way because someone said so. Worst case scenario, they didn't thought about it, and that is the default experience that you are having. So it is important that when we design, we make the right questions. Questions such as, what is the ultimate goal of what we're doing? More importantly, is this ultimate goal going to change people's lives in a positive way? So if your answer to this question is, I don't know, well, stop and figure it out, for God's sake. This will have an impact in somebody. If your answer to that question is, no, it won't change, it won't improve people's lives, then for God's sake, stop and figure out other ways. Aren't you a designer? If you come to that conversation with the argument that, it's a screen only, it won't harm anyone, then my answer to you will be, have you ever heard that size doesn't matter? Impact does. Impact on people does. So we better start questioning ourselves so we can design better futures. But I know some of you might be thinking, blah, blah, blah. It looks so good, right, on the presentation, but how do you actually do that? OK, I have a tool for you, and it's very sexy. What about this? A research paper from 2010. Who would say that? But actually, it's super cool, because you have 10 service research priorities that you can use as a courses of action that you can use to implement better future in your services. And actually, there is one that caught my attention as a professional, but also as a human being, which is this one. What? What is transformative service? What is that? Well, simply put, is when you design a service, any kind, any industry, any purpose, in that purpose is also included that you want to impact in a positive manner the well-being of people. And that idea, if you think for a second, is kind of disruptive. Because the purpose of any service is revenue, right? Or increase customer satisfaction, or increase loyalty, or the three of all, but not well-being. Actually, there is this thought that if you design for well-being, you're not designing for revenue, which is so wrong. In fact, when you go to business and talk about with this well-being conversation, they say, oh, here comes the new hippie talk. But it's not true. It's so wrong. Because in the context of enterprises, designing better futures, we think of the employee, which actually is also part of my topic. And bringing well-being to the employee is creating the conditions where they feel safe, they feel happy, they feel focused. And focus is about a state of flow. And you know how hard it is to reach a state of flow. And you know how amazing it is to be in a state of flow, where you feel that sensation of empowerment and joy and focus and energized, that you're getting everything that you want to do. And that is full productivity, man. That is business. That's business terms. So I don't see any better moment than this to introduce you to the topic, which is the empathetic workplace. The empathetic workplace is the use of service design in a very particular manner to help companies to get employee experience right. The employee experience has become a trending topic in the US, and I strongly believe it will also be the case in Europe. Why is that? Well, let's stop for a minute and look at the world we live in, where the king is immediacy and the queen is exponential growth. When we live in this world, customer centricity is no longer enough. You really need to consider the employee if you want to stay ahead on the market. And data supports that. And recent research that Gallup performed in 2017, if I'm not wrong, says that this: 80% of the employees worldwide are disengaged. And this has severe consequences in terms of costs. Per year, corporations, the employees' engagement costs something between 450 billion to 550 billion per year, and that is only for the US. So you tell me if this is not a business case, if employee engagement couldn't be a business case. More importantly, where companies with employees that are engaged, those outperform those who aren't by over 2,000%. 200%, sorry, 2,000 would be too much. I mean, data makes crystal clear for business to look at this topic. And that is one of the reasons why it's a megatrend in the US. So let's stop a minute, because it seems clear that we have something serious in hands. On the one hand, we have companies that are spending a lot of money because they are unable to retain their people. The people are not fully productive. And on the other hand, we have the employees that are frustrated because they don't have the means and the resources to fully explore their potential. You tell me that is not a good moment to bring the empathetic workplace, and particularly this well-being approach. So if your role, what would be your role here? As a designer, you can certainly help human resources to build their employee experience. In the end, human centricity and empathy are at the core of what we do, right? Is that correct? Yes? Yes? Oh. Well, if you really think that you want to try this, service design, and you want to introduce this transformative perspective where you improve people's well-being, then I want to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you to use life as a design vector of that employee experience and not work. And if you do that, the consequences are very deep and profound. Let's start with the first one. This conversation that we have had for decades, work-life balance, is over. Thank you. Why? It's as simple as it may sound. Remember, we're using life as a design vector, right? If we use life as a design vector, work is a component of life. There's no more things like this. What you need to do is to find the synergies between the two. And that is when the magic happens. The second implication is that emotions will become your best ally. We all know that emotion is a component of us as a person, and positive emotions brings the energy to do amazing stuff, and we can use those emotions to get into this state of flow. But we know also that toxic emotions refrain for us from achieving this state that we ambition to have. So emotions will be your best ally to make the employee experience happen from this angle, the empathetic workplace. The third implication is, as you walk with life as a design vector of the employee experience, you will certainly walk away from this linear, standard, process-oriented way of looking the employee life cycle that have seen so many companies using service design. Instead, what you will start working with is with moments that matter. What is that? Moments that matter, simply put, are the moments of truth of the employee life cycle. When you use life as a design vector of these moments, where what you are going to be doing is looking for those synergies between the needs and interests of the employees and of the corporates, so you create the foundation for employee engagement, retention, loyalty, and well-being. So the employee life cycle from this perspective of moments that matter looks something like this. And by the way, if you're taking pictures, bear in mind that this is just a representation of all the possible moments that matter that you may find on life, on employee life. Let me walk you through some of them so you get an understanding of how do you do this. First day at work. You know how it's that, right? You've been there. We all have been there. It's a moment of excitement, a moment of extreme vulnerability because we want to be part of that company, but we are not sure if we are going to be very well welcome or not. We want to prove that we are the good one, we are the right one for that position, but yet we may question. So as part of the discovery stage, you really need to understand from your new hires what are the emotions, the positive and the negative. And you need to work with them so you boost the positive in a way you build the experience that allows you to achieve the business outcome, which in this case is a streamlined time to full productivity, right? And prevent all these negative emotions that will reframe that person to be fully productive. How do you do that? What would be the possible solution? Well, an onboarding experience. You have heard of that, right? Onboarding experience is typical in all the employee life cycle stages and make all the sense. What changes when you use life as a design vector is the way you deliver that experience. As I mentioned, we have these positive and negative emotions. I want to use the positive emotions of this moment, this excitement, this idea that, yes, they want to be the best one, just like this guy. I want them to feel, men and women, I don't care, that they are the champions of this race. They got this. And I want them to feel that they have the means, the car, and also the team that are helping them. They will make sure, oh my God, I'm gonna fall. They will make sure that they're gonna win the race. So you get this sense of belonging, the sense that you are cared, you feel valued. This excitement, in this way, will guarantee that this person would enter in full productivity very soon. And we need to sustain that onboarding experience not on the first day, but the first week and the first month. So they get to learn not only their own job, how to drive the car, but also how to collaborate with their team and the extended team, the other departments. Another experience, another moment that matters. Being promoted. Being promoted, as awesome it could be also very challenging. Why is that? Because you are on the spotlight. Expectations are on you, pressure. Imposter syndrome may come, like, I don't deserve this. So when we design this experience from the lens of life and well-being, we want them to create the conditions that they feel that everything is going to be all right. We don't want to create an onboarding experience because I believe this, oh my God, this will come after. We want to create an onboarding experience here, a re-onboarding experience, yes, but not just like the other one, the one of the racer, the guy with the Formula One. We don't want to get that excitement. We want to get reassurance. We want that person to be calm. We want them to feel that you got this guy. This is going to be all right. You are the right person. You have the right skills. And if not, I provide you the right tools to grow, and you realize that you are growing. And in the case of this being promoted and you happen to be a manager, right? So you are promoted to lead a team. I thought in terms of tools, our colleague yesterday, maybe I say the right name, Holger? Okay, thank you. He provided a really nice tool for managers on how to own that new role. So have you noticed the pattern? Emotions, good ones, how I do work with these good ones to achieve the business goal, full productivity, or in the case of being promoted, achieve X goals, provided X time, and yet make that through the perspective of the person feeling safe, feeling happy, getting this sense of flow. But if it's not clear enough, let me talk about a last one, another moment that matters. This is tricky because parenthood has a polarized impact on women and men's career development, being positive on men and negative on women. And the reason for that is culture and the roles men and women are expected to perform in society when they transition to parenthood. And this baby is very pissed, as I am, because this negative impact on women's career is called motherhood penalty and has two other consequences. The first one is that when a woman becomes a mother at workplace, they are less offered new job positions or salary increases. So the chances of a working mother to be on high-ranked positions are very low. That is called glass ceiling effect. The fact that women are less paid, women that are mothers, are less paid to their male counterparts, or even to their female colleagues that are not mothers, for now, is called the pay gap. And for you to get a better understanding of why this baby is angry, and I am angry, is because this. In Europe, the EU28, according to the Eurostat, says that women, we ladies, work for free, on average, 2 months compared to the males for the same job position. I mean, that's unbelievable. So, as a mother and very driven woman, I put together a business case and I presented to my company, who love challenges status quo, and they provide me the means for me to explore this angle. And the first thing I did is to realize, to study out of my female colleagues, how did they position themselves in terms of career development, or career ambition, and motherhood orientation. And I managed to put them in 3 personas. The mother persona includes all the women that are pregnant or in adoption process, all those that are in maternity leave, all those who are resuming work, and all those who are already working and have the kids for at least 1 year, right? The not a mother for now, just like it says, is all those women that plan to be a mother one day, but they don't know when. And the last one, not planning to become a mother persona, it is pretty obvious, are all these women that want to be a mother. And it was surprising to realize, surprising because remember culture, the most career-driven of all was the mother persona. This next thing I did was mapping the motherhood journey map by natural conception and adoption at the workplace. And it has 5 stages. It starts with this one, be a mother one day, which is kind of romantic thing of, oh, yeah, I want to be a mother, but you don't know how it's like. And when you really make the decision that you want to really ponder that idea, is when you get in the considering stage, which ends when you make the decision. I want to be a mother. Then it starts the in-process stage that finishes either when you get pregnant or get accepted in an adoption process. From there, we move to mother-to-be, which finishes when you get birth or you receive the babies. And then you go to the mother stage that can last your whole life. Or you can, again, consider to be a mother as well, so you jump to the considering stage once again. Or if you get pregnant and you didn't plan it, you jump to the mother-to-be. So out of the possible touch points, I identified, based on the research, which one impacted the most on career development and well-being. So let's see which one impacted the most to the not a mother for now persona. That persona that wants to be a mother one day, but she doesn't know when. It happened to be no touch point by the stage, which is be a mother one day. That romantic idea, remember? Well, it is romantic until they see the mother persona. And it gets like oh my God, it's so dark. It is. It's like a nightmare. Because they see how much they're struggling, juggling her life and the work, and how they manage to grow in their career. It's like kind of stuck. So they get really anxious. And we don't want to be these young women, most of them were very young, to feel anxious and to see that they have no odds to grow as a person and as a professional. We don't want that. We want that excitement back. We want them to feel that they can flourish. So what we put in place, is testimonials. So they get to learn from other mother personas what is the experience like, and mentorship programs. So they can talk one-on-one in private conversations with mother personas, so they get to know how this be like, right? What about the mother persona? The mother persona has 3 touch points that are really critical for her experience in terms of growing their career and well-being. Let's start with communicating that they are pregnant or in adoption process. Well, this is awkward. They don't know how to do it, when to do it, and this is irrelevant if the manager is a man or woman. It doesn't matter. It is so hard for them. It's so full of anxiety. What I have to say, when I have to say, how do I have to say? Oh my God, right? And then what is going to happen afterwards? A lot of anxiety, and we don't want that at all. And if it gets more challenging in cultures where they keep away the life, the personal life, the intimacy of the work, out of the workplace. Because this situation puts one side by side. So it could be extremely anxious, extremely difficult for too many people, even for the manager itself or herself. So, and now if you look at from this, again, if we reconsider what this moment means for the person from a life perspective, you need to think that this person is in nesting, is getting ready to receive a new life. And when you think and you realize that, you find the solution. When a woman is nesting, what she does to take out anxiety out of the equation is planning. So what you can do is, besides providing the conditions for this conversation to happen, is a pregnancy plan, where you give her the leading voice to decide what are the arrangements that need to be happening as you go to your pregnancy, as you go through your adoption process, what would you like to be your maternity leave, which in Portugal could be 9 months, how it's going to be like, how would you like to come back when you resume work, how would you like the experience to be, how would you like the work to be handled when you are out, all these conversations to happen. This is the tool to make sure anxiety goes away and focus comes back. Another very challenging moment of women's life is returning to work. As I said, in Portugal, you can be 9 months away, and it's a long time. And you have been through a massive transformation in your life. So when you come back, it's a moment of extreme vulnerability. Are they waiting for me? Is it going to be like before? So many questions, right? So much fear. So there are 2 things. First of all, a re-onboarding experience, which is very different from the first 2 I showed before, the 1 day, first day at job, and being promoted. In this case, we want to pave the way so it's very smooth, the transition from being on maternity leave to resuming back to work. So she gets an idea of, we got your back. Take your time, learn how to be a working mother, and get adjusted to this new reality. In parallel to this, we realized out of the research that this is a tipping point for women's careers. Many women, when they would come from maternity leave, and it's not important how much time do they take from maternity leave. As they went to a very drastic transformation, they question if what they were doing is what they want to be doing again. So in most cases, women transition to other stuff, or even leave the company, and want to try different things. So because we don't want to lose these people, as Guru mentioned, costs of acquisition are very high, in the IT particularly. And we want them to be productive. We don't want to feel disengaged because what she's doing is no longer interesting for her. We put in place coaching services. So we figured out that together. As you learn how it is to work as a working mother. Last but not least, growing your career. As you know, women, when they apply to a job position, unless they check all the requirements, they don't apply, most of the cases. And then we tend to assume that to have career prospects, we need to have a lot of courses and training and stuff. So a working mother doesn't have time. And we saw that the mother persona is the most career-driven of all. So we have frustration. What am I going to do? If I don't have time to study, to attend conferences like this, how do I grow my career? Solution for here, mentoring and training. So I hope it is clear for you. Now you have a better idea what does the empathetic workplace look like, using life as a design vector, and making sure that well-being becomes a structural of the solution you create for the purpose to achieve the business goals, which in this case is productivity and others. Thank you very much.
Any comments or questions or reflections on this subject for Laura and the rest of the group?
Just a small comment as a working mother.
Okay.
I found that in what you presented about employees becoming mothers or even parents, because it's broader than just women. I see the negative impacts or the things that become difficult. What I missed a little was the things that become easier, because I find in my team that everybody who's become a parent, both men and women, becomes so much more efficient with time.
Yeah, but do we need to wait for them to realize that? We can make that visible before. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Thank you.
Following up on the pattern stuff we were just doing, I was immediately comparing it to other significant incidents in, as you said, I forget the term you used for the major changes. An illness, long-term illness or a significant illness is very similar. The fear of coming back to work, will people accept me? Mm-hmm. Those kind of things are very similar. So it's very useful to take the learnings out of that we've got from working on the motherhood issues and applying them to similar incidents of.
I'd rather say no.
You'd say no?
I'd say why. I'll tell you why. They are similar, yes. Vulnerability will be there, fear will be there, but it's important that we work with the people, understand what are the emotions, and then how do we design that experience so that the solution will be so different. As you see, there was fear, there were vulnerability, they were in the other stages, but the solutions I presented were so different, weren't they? So that's what I think for the chronic diseases, illness, and the likes, the solutions as well will be different. And may I answer in your question? Am I?
Probably because I'm not a woman, I don't see the difference. I see it as they're both long-term issues. They are very real, they are life-changing.
But the issues are not the same, right?
The details of the solutions will be different.
Okay.
But a lot of the fears and some of the practical details, a lot of the details will actually be very much the same. And I've had a shortish period when I had to take months off work with a fairly major injury. And I recognized the fears that you describe about will they accept me as I am. So it was in that sort of thing that I saw some very real similarities. I acknowledge motherhood is a specific thing for women only, but it's parenting, and the parenting issues in many countries, fortunately, are not that different. So there are some parallels that can be taken there.
Great job, thank you.
Thanks.
You're familiar with Laloux's book, Reinventing Organizations. So empathetic workplaces are native to Teal, right? teal organizations. What if I'm in a green or even a red or amber or orange organization? How am I going to design, an empathetic workplace? What are the possibilities there?
Okay. What I realized when I started doing this is that, the discovery stage or the empathize stage, it doesn't happen. You need to create something, and something you need to create, regardless of the color of the classification, is trust. Trust from the employee on this, that I'm not going to be blacklisted for whatever reason I will share with you. Trust from the human resources that you're going to open the Pandora box. So regardless of how do you classify the behaviors, that is the most important thing. Before creating, empathizing, you need to make sure that people will be open their hearts and their thoughts with you, both sides. Do I answer the question? Thank you.
Kind of continuing on what you just said, you mentioned you brought this conversation to your company. Can you give a little bit more context about how your role in the company has changed because of this, and like what kind of timeline you worked through since you started that journey?
How my role has changed, or how the company has changed?
Yeah, are you part of the HR now,
No.
or you're working?
No.
Yeah.
I'm part of marketing. I am the manager of the customer experience. But I use always service design for customers, never for the employee. Actually, my own experience opened me the eyes to a new world that we could do so much. And actually, the company has their own department, the employee experience department, and they're starting to put in place so many projects. So I'm very proud about that. I'm very excited.
Final comments? Questions? All right, then I suggest we give a warm round of applause to Laura. Thank you.